Marabalayam, Namakkal district, Tamil Nadu. I welcome you all for this second second session. It's taken by our eminent person from Vellore Institute of Technology. He is also my student, Dr. Manikandan. Today, Dr. M. Manikandan, Associate Professor, School of Mechanical Engineering, Vellore Institute of Technology, is going to present. He published more number of papers in reputed journal. He completed a full-time PhD in Vellore Institute of Technology. He is having more than 10 years of experience. He got more than 40 lakhs funding. That is very, very important. Suppose if you are having any doubt in the funding area, how to get, he got funding in his area, you can ask that also. Okay, this is the time to start this session. This is the webinar on advances in welding techniques. The welding is very, very important for all the field. Okay, this is the basic. This is the basic. Welding is the basic for the manufacturing. By means of welding, we can develop the infrastructure. We can develop machine concept and all those things. Okay, you can. I hope this session will be useful to you regarding the welding. Those who are doing research related with that welding area, and also you can ask some common question related with the research and how to get funding also. Why? Because he got more than 40 lakhs. Okay, thank you. Within us, I conclude. The Dr. Manikandan will start this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Karnaran, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving the opportunity to share my experience in my area of welding. Definitely, this session will be a very very useful for many people who is working on the area of welding or anybody willing to start to work on welding. So this session really helpful for you people. Definitely. Sir, if you have any queries in my presentation, you may send the question in the chat also. I given my email ID in the screen. It is available. You can write an email. I will definitely respond to you. As sir told, you can ask questions, anything like the technical or research or funding opportunity, whatever it may be. I will try to answer my level best. Okay. So, as I sir told, so myself, Dr. Manikandan, I'm currently working as an associate professor in the School of Mechanical Engineering, V8 University. My area of research is welding, high temperature corrosion, laser shock peening, and thermal spray coatings. So in the last 5 years, I have published more than 65 international articles in like in the Springer as well as Elsevier and Sage publications. And I have produced more than 5 PhD scholars. 2 students are about to submit. Almost 7 scholars I completed by PhD guidance. And currently I'm handling the 2 funded projects funded by Government of India, Ministry of Defense, DRDO. One is on the aeronautical wind and other one is on the DRDO board. So today my presentation is in the advanced in welding technique. So here I am going to talk more about on the research from my experience, what I come across so far in the last 5 years. So I go to the presentation. So there are different types of joining process like soldering, bracing, and welding. So these are all the different types of soldering process. So you may aware that what is the soldering, right? The electrical circuit boards, all those things, they do the soldering operation, right? The temperature is supposed not to exceed at 450 degrees Celsius when you are doing the soldering operation. Whereas in the case of bracing, the temperature will be a little higher than this process. Whereas in the welding process, we are going to melt the material. What you do, melt up to the base metal pressure. For example, if you are building a nickel-based supralloy, the melting temperature of nickel-based supralloy is around 1400 degrees Celsius, right? So you are going to melt the material up to 1200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Celsius, right? Then you are going to joining. So this is a different types of welding process. So yeah, please, sir.
So your voice is breaking, sir.
Yeah, please.
Your voice is breaking.
Yeah. Fine. Okay.
Yes,
I will continue. You just please hold if my voice is second break. Okay. So what is the basic definition of welding process? Sir, you told the previous slide. So welding is the one you are going to melt the material up to the base metal temperature, right? Sir, it is correct. But day-to-day life, right, with many technology has developed, even nowadays we can do welding without melting the material, right? For example, so I will give the clear definition. Welding is a material joining process, right? You are going to join the metal of two different similar or dissimilar material, which produce a collision of material by heating them to the suitable temperature. That is what I told. Suitable temperature means up to the base metal temperature, with or without applying the pressure or by applying the pressure. So here there are two things are there, right? So one is by applying the heat up to certain temperature without applying pressure. It is called as the fusion welding process. Second category, by application of pressure alone without melting, by applying the pressure, we are joining the two plates, right? That is called as a solid state welding process. So nowadays our people, you may aware that there is another welding process called as a friction stir welding process and a friction welding process. So this is comes under the category of applying the pressure alone. That is called as a solid state welding process. Here we are not going to melt the material. We are going to apply the pressure alone, and we are going to making the material temperature up to the 60 to 80% of the base metal melting temperature. By the pressure, we are making the joints. So that is called as a solid state welding process. Okay, sir. At the beginning, Dr. Kanaran sir told, so welding is one of the basic manufacturing process. Yes, it is very absolutely correct. So you can application of welding having very wide, even from starting your household appliance to the aerospace components. Without welding, you cannot see even any component, right? If you see your any vessels in your kitchen, right, definitely it will be joined by welding process, right? If something is going to the space, right, rocket motor casing, or some satellites, whatever things is going right in the space application, right, it is completely fabricated by the welding process. So without welding, nothing is there in manufacturing, right? Even a small, if you take any component in a fan, table, whatever it may be, definitely welding will be there. So classification of commercial weld process, right? So one is the gas welding, electrical arc welding, high density welding process, and a solid state welding process. Now, in the gas welding process, we can call it as, sir, please.
Oh yes, sir.
Sir,
okay. Okay, no problem. You continue.
In a gas welding process, the oxyacetylene welding technique, like we know very well. So we used to call it as a gas welding. It is called as oxyacetylene welding. We are using oxygen as well as acetylene, right? Combined together, we are getting the fumes. Through that, we are making the weld joints, right? So electrical arc welding, right? Here it comes under SMAW, GTAW, plasma arc welding, GMAW, SAW. So all the in the main in the industry major applications are comes under GMAW, GTAW, plasma arc welding. So widely, because here we are using electric current as power source, we are melting and we are joining. And this is the high density welding process. Generally, there are two types of welding process in the high density welding process. One is laser beam and another one is the electron beam. The power source which is coming out from this high density welding is very high as compared to the electrical arc welding process. So basically what is happening, sir? We are the metal is in the solid form. We are melting the metal to the liquidation form, and then it is started solidify. We are getting the joints. So other type is a solid interface. So here we are not going to melt the material, but we are making the joints without melting. As I told you previously, there are two different types of welding process in this. One is friction stir welding technique, and other one is the friction welding techniques. So this is a very basic concept of oxyacetylene welding process. So I don't want to touch more on this, right? So we may aware that there are two cylinders will be there. One is the oxygen cylinder and another one is the acetylene cylinder. So when these two gases are combining together in the torch, so we are getting the fumes. So based on the percentage ratio of the fumes, it will be considered into three different categories. One is neutral flame, oxidizing flame, and a reducing flame. So here you can see that there is inner cone, there should be outer cone. So the mixing ratio of the two gases, right? So you are getting the different flames. So next one is the most important and widely used welding technique in the globally. That is called as the gas tungsten or welding process, and this is also called as the TIG welding process. So basically, how this is functioning, sir, right? So here, this is the schematic layout, and this is the real-time photograph of the weld plate. So the welder made a groove of the joints, right? So here he having the filler material in one hand, and here is the torch, right? So when the fuse will come out, when this tungsten electrode touch the base material, the arc will start initiate by melting the filler material, right? So the weld joint should be taken place. So I can show you a small video. Yeah. So now you can see here, this is a pipe joint actually. So the tuck welding is already done. So the groove has been taken. Now, yeah. So you can see here, this is the electrode, right? This is the tungsten electrode. The filler wire is here. So the arc is coming when the tungsten electrode touch to the base plate or material what you want to melt, right? And you, by feeding the electrode externally, the deposition is taken place, right? So this is the concept of the TIG welding process. So you can see the weld bit over here. And so when the low deposition rate and slow speed welding, but clean weld. So the deposition rate is very less in the TIG welding because you have to coordinate both your hands, one hand in the torch and the other hand in the filler material. So when the coordination should be very important. So always the TIG process is slow as compared to the MIG welding process. Now, yeah. So here there are three different types of power sources there. One is DC electrode negative, DC electrode positive, and another one is the AC. Sir, what is this, sir, actually? Now you can see that DC electrode negative, DC electrode positive. You can see here the electrode is negative. This electrode is negative. Here the workpiece is the positive. Here the electrode is negative and workpiece is the electrode is the positive and workpiece is the negative. So as I told you, right, this should be connected to the positive negative, or workpiece should be connected to the positive or negative. So that was represented over here. Okay, AC. So why is different types of polarization? Why not can do it for a single? I will tell you. Now, in general, we are going to welding of any steel or nickel-based superalloy, any material, we do go for DCEN. When we are going for DCEN, what is happening, sir? In the electrode should be connected to the negative side and workpiece should be connected to the positive side. Right? When the current is maximum at the workpiece, we are getting the maximum depth of penetration. We are getting the maximum depth of penetration because more current is acting over this the positive terminal of the workpiece. Whereas, so then why we need the electrode negative? What is the difference between these two, sir? If you see here, the depth of penetration is very high, whereas in this case, the depth of penetration is very low as compared to this one. And you can see the width is here, it is less, and here it is high. Then why we need this kind of polarity, sir? When you are going to building up the aluminum alloy or magnesium alloy, right? So the oxide layer which will be forming over during the weld process, AlO3, aluminum oxide layer will be forming on the top layer of the welding. So it is not possible to clean during the welding itself. So when it is connected to here, right, the more current is on the positive side and less current is on the negative side, the atoms will be bombarded to the so that the oxide layer will be completely removed. So when you are going for aluminum alloy, generally we used to go for DC electrode positive or magnesium alloy. So this is the concept I told, what is happening when you are doing the welding of aluminum alloy. So In the TIG welding process, there is another process called as the pulsed current gas tungsten arc welding process. In general, what is pulsed current gas tungsten arc welding process, sir? Sir, the machine should be the same. You are using the same welding machine, but there is another option called as the pulse parameter, right? So here you are varying the current from the lower level to higher level. For example, in the continuous current GTA, the welding will be taken place continuously like this. The current, there is no change of current. If you are fixing the current as 180, the entire building will be taken to 180 amps. Okay. Whereas in this case of GTA welding process, now you can see here, this is the lower and this is the higher current. So during the peak current, the welding should be taken place and immediately followed solidification, means cooling should be taken place. And then again, background current and night current. So when the current is moving towards the side, it is going up, down, process, you get a lot of advantage. You are allowing the material. Yeah, please.
Sir, your audio is,
Yeah, please.
audio is breaking up, sir. Kindly have the mic near.
Audio.
Audio is breaking up, sir. Not clear, sir. Audio not clear, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. It is clear, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello. Can you, the current is varying from the peak current to the background current, means base current. So immediately after welding, we are allowing for solidification. So what are the advantages of this? So this is the macrograph of the cross section of the weldment. So now again, this is the GTA welding and this is the PC GTA welding process. Now you can see here the width of GTA is very high. Here it is about 10.8, whereas here it is 9.1. Almost more than 1 mm width is reducing. And similarly here also you can see here it is 3.5 mm, here it is 4.6. Also the structure of weld bit also something different from this case, right? So when you are using the PC-GTA mode of welding process, right, your width of the fusion joint also getting reduces. And yeah, this is another one. This is the EBST analysis. We have carried out the electron backscattered image EBST to measure the grain sizes. As I told you the previous slide, the grains over here is compared to here is very fine, right? So in order to understand the size of the grains, right, as compared to GTA and PCGTA, we did the analysis for both GTA as well as the PCGTA welding process. Right here, we can able to understand that the grains are completely refined. You can see here the grains are coarser in the GTA case, and the PCGTA cases the grains are very finer. Now you can see the tensile property, right? The PCGTA welding process, the tensile strength is high. For example, here in this case it is 746, and in this case it is 763. In the other case it is 688, in another case 706. It is purely based on the microstructure, which is defined microstructures observed in the PCGTA welding process. And similarly for the isoharness, you can see here, yeah, the blue color is the GTA1 and the blue color is the PCGTA. And here the PCGTA having the higher hardness value as compared to the GTA. So what is the advantages and disadvantages, sir? So it is suitable for joining the thick section. GTA welding is suitable for joining the thin section due to the limited heat input. The deposition rate is low, as I told previously. Deposition rate will be low as compared to MIG welding. So can weld metal without the filler material. Autogenesis is possible. Can go up to the welding of 3 mm thickness, not more than that in the autogenesis case. So excessive welding current causes melting of tungsten electrode and results in the brittle tungsten in the weld pool. So you can see the weld process can use for welding reactive material, even titanium, zirconium is possible over here, and multi-pass is possible and low welding speed. This is the disadvantage. And these are some of my own reference paper which I worked closely with the GT and PCGTA with the different grades of the supralloys. And another process called as the ATIG welding process. So what is the ATIG welding process, sir? So again, it is again a conventional TIG welding process. Then what is called as a TIG welding process, right? So if you are applying any salt, for example, Fe2O3, SiO2, TiO2, salt, which is available in our chemistry lab or in our any laboratory lab, right? So you can mix the salt with methanol or ethanol or acetone. You just apply over the welding. And after you apply, you do the welding process, your entire property is getting changed. So what is happening, sir, actually? For example, when we are doing the welding process, the conventional TIG welding, your motor pool will go away like this. Your motor pool will go away like this. But when you are applying a salt, like SiO2, as I mentioned here, SiO2, TiO2, right? Your flow of liquid flow will go toward this direction. So what is the name exactly? It's called as the Marangoni effect. So what is happening? It is converting the negative surface tension to the positive surface tension of the weldment, so that the weldment will go towards the deeper penetration as compared to conventional welding process. So in this case, even that lower cut, you can able to achieve the maximum depth of penetration. So that is possible with the ATIC welding process. As I told you, in the autogenous case, we can do welding only 3 mm thickness. But when you apply any salt like SiO2, TiO2, like you can go for up to even 8 mm, 9 mm without adding filler material in the TIG welding process. So in general industry, there are two welding processes widely used. One is gas metal welding process, another is TIG welding process, because as compared to other welding process, the cost is very less in this two welding technique, and we can easily train the welder easily in the two welding process. And this is the photograph of the welding machine, and this is the cross-sectional view of the welded torch. You can see here the shielding gas, the electrode, the filler material, everything is coming inside the nozzle itself. You can see here in this nozzle itself, you are getting filler directly. Whereas in the case of TIG welding, you are feeding the filler material externally and you are doing welding. So in the time taken will be more in the TIG welding process. Whereas in the case of MIG welding process, since it is coming in the filler wire is directly coming inside the torch in the nozzle itself,
Manikandan, sir.
it will be very high.
Sir, your PPT
Sir,
is not.
very difficult to weld in the welding process, particularly high strength aluminum alloy 2 series as well as 7 series. Now, because these two aluminum alloys are widely used in aerospace industry because of the high strength as compared to other aluminum alloys. And in order to do the weld of this kind of material, the Fronius, the industry called as the Fronius, who developed the welding machine is called as a CMT process. It is called as the cold metal transfer process. Happening there actually. So CMT process same as the welding in the circuit mode, right? So what is happening when the electrode is and it is touching to the metal, when it is touching, automatically the wire retracted back. The wire retracted back. So immediately switching off the current, the wire will be retracting back to the nozzle, so that the wire will be detached. The water pool will be detached and will come to the fine droplets. So when it is coming to the very fine droplets, right, your heat input is comparatively less, right? The possibilities of forming a crack and everything is not in the CMT welding process. When coming to the base metal, the circuit is happening. So when the short circuit is happening, the wire is retracting back, right? When it is retracted back, the molten metal is falling down to the in the base plate, so that the welding process should be taken place. So this is the schematic layout we constructed very recently for one of our work actually. So here you can see here the arc is coming, right? When it is touching to the base material, right? So the wire should be retracted back. So it is retract back. So when it is going up, immediately the molten pool will be, when the electrode will be melt and it is falling down, right? So similarly, the cycle is keep repeating. So this is the working principle of the CMT process. So here we did some comparative studies of MIG welding as well as the CMT welding process. So here you can see here, this is actually 7 series material, 7475 alloy, I think so. So when we did the welding of two different filler materials, 4043 and 5356. Right, when I did the welding of 5 series filler material, I'm not able to find any kind of defect. Whereas in case of 4043, the more porosities are there. So the selection of filler material is one of the most important in the welding process. As well, here I can see here in the pulse mode, the width is very less. Whereas in the normal CMT, the width is very high. Whereas in the GMW, again you can see the width is very high. When I go for the pulse mode, again here, because of the controlled current environment, I am getting the very less bead width. Yeah. So next one is the silk arc. So again, you know very well. This is the arc welding process. So we generally widely use this kind of technique in the fabrication process. So here we are using the flex. This is the electrode. This is coated with the flex electrode. So it gives wrap when doing welding process, and it will be acting as a shielding also. So the electrode will be classified with always some numbers. So what is this number, sir? For example, it was quoted here, number is C7018. So E is indicating the electrode. The E is representing the electrode. 70 is representing the ultimate tensile strength. 70, the first two digit is indicating the ultimate tensile strength. Here it should be 70,000 psi tensile strength, and 1 is indicating the position of the building. And is representing the low hydrogen. So if you see any electrode, definitely there should be some number will be there. So that represents the strength, the position, as well as the hydrogen indication. All those are represented over here. So next one is the submerged arc welding process. So why submerged arc welding process we are going, sir? We are going for the submerged welding process. If you want to do welding of the very high thick plate, we are doing the submerged arc welding process. So what is happening? So you are putting granular flux, right? So you are this is a granular flux, right? So here it is a white color showing here, and the torch is here, and here the torch is there. The torch should be submerged inside this flux, right? And the welding process cannot be able to see the flames outside. Right? Generally in industry, if you want to go for the welding of a very high thick, right? So submerged arc welding process, they used to go for welding process. So next one is the laser beam welding, as well as the. So I told you previously, laser beam welding and beam welding technique. Two techniques are the high density welding process. Right? The current which is here, the current which is coming, the electron which is coming out, bombarded to the material, and it is started coming out and melting material, right? So this process, the process, usually industry like complex kind of things, they do go for the laser beam welding as well as the electron welding process. In fact, we have one machine, the previous also we have, but it was working properly now. Even for 3 mm thick plate, we need to invest for 2 crores, as well as the maintenance cost is very. And what is the advantages for this? We will do welding of thickness like a 40 mm, 30 mm into the single pass, right? And proper the welding will be very good for the arc welding process. Because carrying the welding is in single pass, because you are eliminating the number of passes, your heat input will be obviously low, and the microstation will be very rich, and we can apply a very faster as compared to the conventional. We can do welding with the help of robot only. Laser we cannot do directly, and a lot of precaution is there. When you are going to do the laser welding process. And this is one of my work we did almost 4 years before. So we tried for do welding of almost a 3 or 4 mm thick plate of Hastel IC276. So we did lot of trials first. So to optimize the process parameter, we did lot of trials, and finally we have achieved the thickness of the entire depth of 4.8 mm thickness, right? And we compared the study of laser welding with the same TIG welding process of the same material. Here we observe that the microstructures are very fine. The microstructures are very fine. So it leads to the higher tensile property as well as the higher micro hardness as compared to the TIG welding process. I got the result of tensile properties almost same to the base metal property. So it is really very interesting, and I'm getting a very good result as compared to the TIG welding process. And you can find this publication. This is my reference and my publication of the article of laser welding process. So I got the tensile strength is almost the same to the base metal. My base metal strength is 750. In fact, I got higher than that. Average is 761. So as compared to TIG welding process, the laser is very excellent result, and I'm getting the strength which is equal to the base metal. So next one is the laser hybrid welding process. So even laser hybrid welding process is a new development. We can do both arc welding as well as the laser in the laser parallelly, right? You can combine laser source with a TIG or MIG welding machine, and both will melt together, right? You can able to achieve the very faster welding with a high depth of penetration, very easier way. So this is another technique. It's called as a laser hybrid welding technique. So next one is the electron beam welding technique. So as I told you previously, so electron beam welding, it is widely used in the aerospace industries where we are doing the welding of titanium alloys, because when the titanium is not possible to do welding with the TIG welding process, we need the vacuum environment. So this in the electron beam welding, the workpiece should be kept completely under the vacuum environment, right? And we are doing the welding process. So high depth of penetration is possible to go to the keyhole welding technique, right? So you can do joint any dissimilar combination or similar combination using the electron beam welding. But whereas in the industry point of view, widely they used to go for the titanium alloys, because titanium is not possible to weld with the TIG welding process because of oxidation issues. You will get the cracking, porosities, everything. And this electron beam welding technique, the investment cost is very, very high. It is very high. Even if you want to go for thick of 40 to 50 mm thick plate, you need to invest more than 8 crores for a single machine. And the maintenance cost is very high. So very rarely the people, those who is working for the aero industries, they used to have this electron beam welding facility. So you can see here, this is the difference between the weld bead. So you can see here the electron beam welding, the weld bead is very small, whereas in the gas tension arc welding, the weld bead is very high. You can able to get the like pin kind of plasma is passing through inside the material and getting to depth penetration, and it will melting the material. So recently I have did one of the work with electron beam welding. You can see here, this is a photograph of the welded plate. You can see here the welded plate is very narrow. The weld is very narrow, and this is the TIG welding. You see the comparison. This is the macro of TIG welding, and this is the magnified macro of the electron beam welding process. You can see here the wine cup shape of the bead. So if you are getting this kind of weld bead, your weld is very perfect welding. So you will get a very nice weld over here. And see, you can see here the macrograph image here over. And as compared to even TIG as well as in the laser welding, the microstructures are completely refined. Very fine nuclear and dendritic structures can be observed in the electron beam welding. And HAZ is completely nil, because here your the penetration is like a very width of the penetration is very less. So you cannot see the HAZ also. This is one of the more advantages as compared to the conventional TIG welding or MIG welding process. And you can see here the microstructures are very fine. And next to the resistance welding. In general, the resistance welding is widely used in the automotive industries. right? For example, the manufacturing of car, if you see, a lot of resistance spot welding will be there to join the two materials, right? Using the electric current, right? So in the spot, they do the welding process. They will apply the forces over here in the two sides, and material should be placed over here, and the welding operation should be taken place. So automotive industry is the main user for the spot welding process. And next to move to the friction stir welding, one of the emerging green welding technique, right? So this friction stir welding technique is widely developed for the aluminum alloys. It is widely developed for the aluminum alloys. There are 8 different series of aluminum alloys, right? It is purely based on the addition of the alloying elements, right? So as I told you previously, 2 series as well as the 7 series materials are not possible to do for the conventional welding process because it is a heat treatable material. So the only possible way to do the welding of this aluminum alloy 2 series and 7 series is the friction stir welding technique. So what is happening, sir, here? Like, so it is similar to your milling operation. Actually, the friction stir welding is similar to your milling operation. I can show the video. So here you have the 2 plates. So this clamping is taken place. So this is the tool, welding tool. So it is keep rotating. It's similar to the milling machine. It is coming. Yeah. Now here it is applying the pressure. By applying the pressure, the welding is taken place. So as I mentioned in the very first slide, right, joining the plate without applying the heat, right, it is called as a solid state welding process. I think you saw the video now. I think you will understand. Now here the melting is not taken place. The joining is purely happen because of the pressure applied between the tool as well as the base material. So we did some of the studies in the past of aluminum alloy 7475. So we have developed this tool. Actually, we developed a different 6 or 7 different types of tool, right? And this is the base plate, right? This is the threaded tool, right? The threaded tool, and this is the welded plates we tried. Actually, we optimized the process parameter by using the box beacon method in the box beacon method, and we can able to see the welding has happened over here. And you can see here the microstructures. You can see the microstructures. There are different regions are there. One is the stir zone, TMAZ, HAZ, and this is the fusion zone. So now you can see the stir zone are called as a fusion zone. Very refined microstructure can able to see over here, right? And this is the TMAZ. You can see the onion ring pattern is forming over here, over this particular region, right? And this is the HAZ, heat affected zone, and the microstructure is similar to the base metal microstructure over here because it is not going to the temperature of very high temperature to change the microstructure. It is not happening. So as I told you previously, for aerospace industries, particularly the high strength aluminum alloys are widely used for construction of the aircraft, right? 2 series as well as 7 series. Mostly they are using the friction stir welding technique to join the materials. And nowadays, even the next many applications are coming out to the metal to polymer joints. So you know very well, and nowadays the composite is coming into the bigger way. The composite is coming to the bigger way, right? Because when you're using the steel, right, in the aerospace application or in the automobile, the weight is keep on increasing. In order to avoid those things, they are going for the composite materials. right? In many part of metal as well as the composites are need to be joined in aerospace as well as in the automobile industries. So now we started working on even the metal to polymer welding also. There are different types of welding techniques are available. One, we started trying working on the friction stir welding technique to join both the metal to polymer combination. So these are all the some of the applications you can able to see here. Carbon fiber composite, that this is the aluminum frame. So even for the automobile, they started using carbon fiber with metal, aluminum alloys to make the welding. All those things are started coming up in the bigger way. So this is the construction of the aircraft. You can see here this is the upper deck and this is the lower deck, right? In many places now the composite as well as the metals are started joining, and now they are doing with the riveted or in the bold way, but some technical issues are there because the stress concentration is over here is very high. So sometimes it is started to making the crack, all those things. So we are trying to do the friction stir welding technique because most of the materials are in the 7 series material as well as the composite materials are there. So we are trying to start working on the metal to polymer using the friction stir welding process. And yeah, actually, if you see this slide closely, the the passenger aircraft is there. Actually, you can see here, as I told you, if you take the aerospace, right? Mostly the 2 series and 7 series materials are widely used everywhere in the upper wing, fuselage, lower wing, military and space aircraft application, because this material having the strength of almost 650 MBA, which is equal to the some grades of stainless steel. So that's why they are using the aluminum alloy 2 series and 7 series in the aerospace application. So this is one of my publications related to the friction stir welding process. You can find and you can look on it. Yeah. So next solid state welding process is the friction welding process, right? So I will show you the video. So here using this, we can do the welding of pipe joints actually. Yeah. So now the joining is taken place over here. Yeah. So this is another solid state welding process, right? You are joining, you can able to join the pipe kind of things, right? So it is similar to our lathe machine operation. You can assume our lathe machine operation, right? So the headstock as well as the tail stock. When the headstock, you are keeping one of the rotating object, right? In the tail stock, you keep it as a stationary object. Once it reaches some certain speed, you apply the pressure in the tail stock, right? By applying the pressure, the melting should be taken place and joining is happening. If you see the real-time component where the friction welding is happening, you can see the turbocharger, the turbine blade as well as the shaft, both are jointed by using the friction welding technique. Usually they do previously the electron beam welding technique, but since the cost is very high, nowadays they started doing the linear friction welding technique using for the joining of turbo blades with the shaft. So now we can see here, when you are increasing the welding current, the heat is getting increasing. When the heat is increasing, the melting rate is high. When the melting rate is high, the deposition rate is very high. When the deposition rate is high, the penetration is keep increasing. So this is the concept for the arc welding process. And similarly, when the arc voltage is increasing, the arc length is also increasing. When the arc voltage is increasing, the arc length is also decreasing, as well as the bead width is also getting increasing. And with reference to the welding speed is increasing, if you are going to the weld at a very highest speed rate, right? So your depth of penetration is keep decreasing, and it will increases the width also. So electrode, when you are choosing the current, higher current, your electrode molten pool will be in the bigger diameter, as well as if you are choosing the lower current, the smaller electrode diameter, also the diameter of the molten pool also less. So this is a different welding position. 1G means you can do it in the one way. 2G it is in the this way, and 3G is the vertical one, and 4G is the overheaded one. So, and this is the 6G position. It is very difficult actually. Like both 6G and 6G are right. It is a rotating component will be there. The welder will do the welding on the rotating components. So different types of joints, I think we know very well, butt joint, lap joint, teeth joint, corner joint, as well as the edge joint. So actually there are different types of welding defects also there. So always we should go ahead with the proper welding, because if there is a small defect in the weldment, obviously your failure will start over there actually. So the external defects like lack of deposition, lack of penetration, over deposition, spotters, undercut, surface crack, arch streaks. So these are all the external defect, and the internal cracks, porosity, slack, these are all the internal defect. So whenever we are going to do any kind of welding process, immediately we go for the examination. For example, the radiography examination. So if you do the radiography examination, you can able to see any defects which is there inside the weldment. And if you do the liquid penetration test, right, you can able to see any defect in the surface region. So due to time constraint, I will skip the defects, because I was given everything. One of the interesting topic is there at the end. I will move towards there. Yeah. Next one is the selection of filler material. Selection of filler material is one of the most important in the weldment design, because if you are not choosing the proper filler material, obviously the weldment will go for the failures. So usually there are two different types of filler material can be selected to do the welding process. One is the filler material composition which is equal to the base metal composition. For example, we know very well the stainless steel 306 or 316, right? When we are going to do welding of 306 or 316, we'll always go for the 306 or 316 filler material. But if you are putting your material in the very high temperature or corrosive environment, we can go for the higher alloyed material. Means the composition which should be higher than the base metal composition. In that case, we can use for the ore alloy filler material. So what is happening, sir? Actually, when you are using the if you are not choosing the proper filler material, what will happen? You can see here, you can able to see the value of molybdenum. Right here, it is a 16%. Over here, it is 33%. What is happening? This white color particles, right? It is all called as a segregation. So the elements are segregated in one particular place. It is called as interdendritic zone, right? During when you are putting to the applications, the real-time environment, the cracks will be initiated over the interdendritic region because of this segregation. If you see here, the segregation is molybdenum is 15, and here it is 40, here it is 16 and 33. But if you choose the proper filler material, you can see here the segregation is very less. So selection of the filler material is one of the very important things when you are when you are choosing the welding process. And similarly here also the same filler material, I have chosen study with different filler materials. I could be able to understand the issues on the segregation. Here it is not there. You can see here it is not there. Whereas here you can see the segregation is not there. Some places it is there. Next one is also the corrosion. Corrosion is one of the most important things, because the microstructure at the place of weldment is different from the base metal. Obviously, the corrosion will start over where there is a change in microstructure, not in the homogeneous way, right? So obviously, when I have the more segregation with reference to the previous slide, where I have the more segregation, my corrosion value is very higher over there. So we did the corrosion test. So since this material is widely used in the marine environment, so we did the marine environment, synthetic salt water of sea environment. So potential dynamic studies has been carried out. So we have noticed that where the segregation is higher, where the segregation is high, the corrosion rate is high. Where the segregation is less, the corrosion rate is also less. Yeah. So again, this is also the similar slide which representing the selection of filler material. It representing the segregation actually. So here I can see here the niobium segregation is happening. So here I'm able to see the segregation of niobium is happening. In the same filler material, when I go for the welding process of PCGTA, I could not find the niobium segregation, because when I go for the PCGTA welding process, because of the rapid solidification, the segregation effect is completely eliminated. And this is the elemental mapping analysis. I could not able to find the segregation of niobium over here. Whereas in this previous case, I could able to find the segregation of niobium over here. You can see here the white color spots. Whereas here, it is not there. And similarly, here also niobium segregation is there. I can able to see the white color spots over here. When I move to the PCGTA welding process, when I go move to the PCGTA welding process, again, I could not able to find out the any sort of the segregation. So it is very important to select the both the welding process as well as the selection of the filler material is more important to do welding of any kind of material when you are putting to the real-time application. So this is one of the allied technique from the welding process, wire plus arc additive manufacturing. So it is one of, nowadays everything is moving towards 3D printing. So you know very well 3D printing, they are doing the plastic, all those things. Nowadays even using the welding technique, we started working on the producing the component, right? Wire arc additive manufacturing. It is called as the wire plus arc additive manufacturing. So you can use the any welding source, either it may be a TIG or MIG or plasma. We can develop the material. So it's a similar setup of the welding process. One is the automation setup. We need the robotic arm actually. So the power source is again the simple GTA or MIG, or it may be a plasma. You can use the shielding gas to protect the environment, right? And you supply the filler wire by melting, and layer by layer you deposit, you will get the component. So in the global scenario of wire arc additive manufacturing, very few countries are started working on this area. If anybody want to start working on PhD or new research area, this is one of the new, one of the upcoming area of additive manufacturing is called as the wire plus arc additive manufacturing. It's not a plastic one, it is a metallic material additive manufacturing. So very few countries started, and they have holding the patents like US, Germany, UK, Japan, China, and South Korea is widely started working on this particular process. And what is the benefit over the powder based? Even now they started using the laser sintering process, other things. What is the advantages over this, sir? It is suitable for manufacturing large scale metal product. VAM print produces significantly less expensive as compared to powder. We have to go for specific powder, but here we can use a normal TIG or MIG welding filler material. We can able to develop the material. The cost of wire is very cheap as compared to the powder. So material savings and reduction of the material cost. VAM technology can deliver beer to the near net shape. We can make the component near net shape, and finally we go for a small cutting machining operation, and we'll get the final machining. So here I made the cost comparison of different alloys, Inconel 718, 625 stainless steel, and as compared to the powder, you can see here the wire, the cost will be very cheaper. We can develop the component. So no commercial available system. Heat management is challenging. These are all some of the disadvantages of VAM technique actually. And what is the advantages? Why we are going for the VAM technique, sir? If you VAM technique system can reduce the fabrication time by 40 to 60% and post machining time by 15 to 20 depending upon the component size. In the future, you won't find any kind of casting product throughout the global. I'm talking about after 5 to 10 years, because now everything is moving towards the additive manufacturing technology, because you can make the component very fast as compared to the other manufacturing process, like in the casting machining, right? So in the future, there may not be any casting industries will not be there. And so this is the one of the landing gear fabricated at UK, right? So you can save the material of 78% of the raw material. So this is the landing gear which was made by using the wire plus arc additive manufacturing technique, right? So here using the robo, they deposited layer by layer and they achieved this kind of job. finally. So what are the industries are looking for this technique, sir? Defense, aerospace, automotive, and many other industries, they are looking for this kind of process because it reduces the manufacturing cost as well as the time. So BAM establishment in India, very few DRDOs, IITs, NITs has play a role. Need to set up lot of laboratory facility. Even many engineering colleges don't have this facility. They can start working on this also. There should be a huge opportunities for job as well as the small scale industries, because now the defense sectors is placed in the Tamil Nadu. There are many opportunities are there in the future. Aerospace and defense industry will be the major. Aerospace and defense industries is going to be a major benefit for this technique. So this is one of the component fabricated by me in the last year actually. So this was my first study on BAM. So I used the power source is the TIG welding source and material is Inconel 617. It is the application of the power plant application. So this plate was fabricated by the filler wire by melting and feeding into the layer by layer. Once after I take out the cross section, I can able to see the no defects are there. I was surprised to see this results. I got this very good outcome of my work actually. So what we have to do measure after this, sir? So what are the study you do welding process? The same study we can do for the BAM process also, like surface waviness, effective wall thickness, porosity measurement, micro fissuring, distortion, tensile strength, corrosion, residual stress, fatigue life, composition, anisotropy. So these are all the some of the parameters we can measure after do research after you develop the component using the wire plus or additive manufacturing technique. So I would like to conclude my lecture by this slide. Thank you. If you have any queries, you please feel free to ask me. I will ready to answer your question my level best. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Kindly, everyone.
Myself, Vijay Kumar, sir.
Forum, sir.
Yeah.
Vijay, post
Sir.
your questions in forum.
Sir,
Yeah. Please tell me, Vijay Kumar.
sir, my question is, how can we find out the microstructure of a solidifying metal only with the rate of cooling?
No, actually, how to find the microstructure, right? So microstructure will be finded through the optical microscope and scanning electron microscope. Okay. So once after I will tell you. Once after you do the welding process, right? So you have to cut out the material, right? And you have to go for the polishing and you have to etch it. Then you have to see the structure using the microscope. There are two different types of microscopes are there. One is the optical microscope and another one is a scanning electron microscope. If you want to study the grain size or intermetallics in the very bigger way, you can go for the SEM, right? You can see the enlarged, you can be able to see the enlarged magnification view. You can see the very clear microstructures.
Sir, on the basis of rate of cooling, sir,
Yeah.
how the on the basis of rate of cooling, how the microstructure will occur or the
See, if you see the, as I told you previously, as compared to GTA, the PCGTA, the cooling rate will be very higher. As if you move to the laser welding or electron beam welding, even the microstructure will be very fine, because here the faster cooling is happening, right? The microstructure will get it the very refined and very fine microstructure. That is what I showed in my slide also. One of my slide I mentioned. So you will get the refined microstructure. When the microstructure is very fine epiaxial microstructure, obviously your mechanical property will get improved.
Sir, another question, sir.
Yeah.
Does welding residual stress affect the creep behavior of weldments?
Definitely.
Sir,
Because there are two types of residual stresses there. One is the compressive residual stress and another one is the tensile residual stress, right? So when you go for the when you go doing the welding process, right, in the fusion welding process or any welding process, in the center, the fusion line, the weld zone, it should be definitely a tensile compressive residual stress. When you have the tensile residual compressive stress, obviously your property will affect. We have to convert the tensile residual stresses into the compressive residual stress. Obviously, when you have the compressive residual stress, your fatigue, your creep, all the property will get improved. Sir, how I change this compressive tensile to compressive residual stress? There are many techniques are there. The surface engineering, like laser shock peening, There are different processes are there. If you do the laser shock peening or shock peening, definitely it will convert your compressive residuals as a tensile residuals to the compressive residual stress, not very much, to some extent. So that will help you to improve your fatigue life of your component or creep life of your component.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, any other question?
I hope we can end the session, sir.
Thank you, Vijay.
Sir, good evening.
Yeah, good
Good
evening,
evening.
sir. Please. Yeah.
Sir, good evening. My name is Sadasivam from RMK College of Engineering,
Yes, sir.
Chennai.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have only one question, sir. See,
Yeah.
in the beginning, you were talking about EBSD analysis
Yes,
for
sir.
grain data.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
I am working in cold forming of aluminum alloys.
Yes.
So I am very much interested in measuring the texture of grains. So
Yeah.
can I know something where to do this? Is it
Sir,
possible
this
to
is
do it in
actually
an
this is only with IIT Bombay, sir. Actually, IIT
Okay.
Bombay, the central facility is available. In fact, I am also doing IIT Bombay only. So we are getting the professor name of the professor. I cannot remember now. I could not able to remember his name right now. Actually, it is the facilities available in IIT Bombay, sir. It is open to everybody,
Okay,
right?
okay, sir.
So once if you
Okay.
send the sample and what is the things you want to send through email, so they will contact you and they will do the test and they will send you immediately the results. You can make the payment after that also, but you won't get the sample back.
Oh, that means I don't have to go there. They will do it if I
You
do send it.
don't want to go there. What are the things you want to supposed to do? You tell everything they do based on the machine hour charging. They will send you the invoice once after they completed the test, and they will send you result immediately. If you want to still do any more analysis, if you're not satisfied, they will do accordingly. You have to pay after the things. But the thing is, you won't get the sample back.
No problem, sir.
I hope this will be very useful for all the mechanical and aeronautical engineers. Why? Because the welding is very basic. We
Yes, sir.
learned a lot from you. I thank
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Manikandan sir again
Thank
and
you, sir.
again.
Thank you.
Okay. Regarding and also I thank all the participant in between some participants, even though you participated. I think today the participation is greater than the 130. That's why there are some problem in between. Okay. Anyway, more than 100 satisfied with that. Okay. Tomorrow the topic is latest trends in composite material. Tomorrow at 3 to 4 p.m. latest trends in composite material that is handled by the Dr. J.T. Vinodil Japas, Dean, Kalasalingam Academy of Research and Education, that is Kalasalingam University. Okay, tomorrow topic is latest trends in composite material. It's also very useful area. I think many of us are doing PhD in composite material, so that you can clarify, you can know the basics, and also we can clarify the doubts regarding the research or paper publication and the basics tomorrow. Okay, thank you to Onandal, and also I thank our coordinator Deepak Kumar sir. He took a lot of pain. Okay, thank you once again for all.